Now, indeed, you're very welcome to another What Matters programme. Today we're covering a current affair issue, which is in fact a worldwide issue presently at the moment, with the incursion of Russia onto the border of Ukraine and the annexation of the Crimea. So I know that people are sort of worried about it, and there's different issues, different angles. But just suffice to say, I spoke with Mike Putt earlier on this morning, who has strong connections in the Ukraine. And in the Ukraine, the people are completely mystified as to why this particular story has gone viral in America. And the Ukrainians are taking it no problem with the Russians on their border. So I wonder what the real story actually is. And Billy Maguire has an awful lot of history with what is regarded as our territorial rights on the sea of the 32 counties. And I think this is very, very important. And Billy, it's good to be with you here today, because so many people are commenting and talking about your past interviews with me only last week as well. And it's great to see that the American audience is growing hugely, and I believe now that is good news for our programmes as well in Australia.
Yes, certainly. John, you're very welcome, and so are all your listeners and viewers to the programmes. And as you know, last Friday, the 21st of January,
that's correct.
That was our 103rd anniversary.
Yes.
And it was the 1918 32 county election. That's where we get our sovereignty from. And that was by the will and wish of all the people of the 32 counties.
Yes.
And Britain called it on the 14th of December 1918. And on the 28th of December, IRB Sinn Féin, nobody else, IRB Sinn Féin, won 73 seats out of 105. The Unionists got 25 seats, the Nationalists got 6, and there was one independent. And on the 21st of January 1919, in the Mansion House, Dublin, and in GHQ Vaughan's Hotel, where it all came out of, that was ratified by the sovereign Dáil government of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, all 32 counties.
All 32 counties,
and all our territories and seas.
Yeah, this is the important one, folks, because...
Last Friday, I have to do that. I will read that to you, that one. That's last Friday. This is the last year's.
Yes.
All licenses and all, it all is. It's from the 21st of January each and every year to the 20th of January, and then it goes back to the sovereign Dáil government and the sovereign people.
Correct.
For that one day.
Yes.
And if you have misbehaved, and John, if you don't have, I've asked a lot of people, if you don't have a license, what are you? And everybody looks at me with two heads and says, you're a pirate. Isn't that what you are if you don't have a license?
Very good, yes. Yeah.
And that's the reason we have the license, because you're accountable to the sovereign Dáil government, the sovereign state, the sovereign people. And that's what is so important on that day.
Can I just take that sheet to show people what we're actually talking about today?
Ireland in it is a bit...
I know the people are very quick to spot this. Folks, this is our territorial waters.
On the 21st of January 1919, we claimed that all that right through America, down the Irish Sea.
This is the imprint of Ireland here on my right hand side of this graph, and on the right hand side of the imprint of Ireland is the Irish Sea connected to Britain. On the left hand side is the Atlantic Ocean to America
and Canada.
And
we're the only country in the world.
And these are our territorial waters.
We own
this.
I claim them. I've been claiming them every year on the 21st of January. And I read what gives me the authority to claim those.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what's so important. And today, there's a conflict going on that you mentioned with Russia.
Correct.
Look, we don't want any conflicts with anything.
No.
And they're coming into our water in February
next week. Next week.
And the Irish Republican Brotherhood, these are their waters.
Yes.
And all our...
all that water on that graph, that territory belongs to the Irish people.
belongs to the Irish people.
Yes.
That's your territory. And all the fishing people.
Yes.
You know, that's all our territory. Anybody that comes into that, you should have a license, really.
Yes.
And in order to relieve the conflict that's going on at the moment, and I heard it on the radio this morning, and Simon Covey was giving out about the Defence Forces and the new person over the Defence Force, that he spoke to the Russian ambassador last Friday.
Yes.
And that was the wrong thing to do. Simon Covey is not Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
And he certainly isn't Minister for Defence. He's under the Crown of England.
Right.
And that's what he is. And we had all these interviews the last couple of weeks. On the 16th, on Sunday, they told us up in Dublin Castle that it was a free state.
Yes.
A provisional free state. That's what Collins said, for 2 years only. 100 years on, it's still going on.
It is still
It's
going on.
propaganda, lies, deception.
Oh, but sure, look, we're sick of the propaganda.
And we're sick of it.
It's
and we're sick of it in Europe.
Yes.
And in Europe, they use our tricolour flag and they pretend they're sovereign and all this.
Look, they're only in it for themselves.
They're only
in
for themselves,
Europe
their money
for
and their
themselves.
pensions.
Now, I want to ask you something, because you were very, very balanced in this. You want people, viewers at home and abroad, to remember the Russians were good to us.
The Russians were marvellous to us when we got our independence on the 21st of January 1919.
Yes.
And I think we should respect that for them. And Colonel Rozianko, the Tsar of Russia, he said, we were outstanding horsemen here, but it was hunting and it was racing.
Yes.
And that was but as for show jumping and dressage and that, we hadn't a clue. And he sent over, I think it was Colonel Rozianko, and he trained the Irish Army team, and he taught the Irish people how to train horses. That we see today, the modern forward seat.
Yes.
In those days, they used to move back and everything, and showed us how to train our horses. And the Irish Army, Major O'Dwyer taught me how to ride.
Did he?
And you had Dan Corrie, and you had all these great people.
Yes.
And they were the best team in the world. And that was Colonel, I think Rozianko, I'm nearly sure that's so long since I have mentioned this. But we have another, in America, the Russians, they had no friends, but they had the Irish as friends. And they were struck one time for, I think it was either 20 or 25,000 dollars.
Yes.
And the IRB lent them the 25 or the 20, whatever it was. And they gave us as collateral the crown jewels.
My goodness.
And as collateral. And Harry Boland had brought them back with him.
Yes.
And of course, when he came back to Devil, there was a row. There was always a row for everything here, as you know. And Collins threw them back at him, I think. And they threw them back at Harry Boland. He shouldn't have taken those, you know.
Yes.
So,
but we helped the Russians in America.
We did. We gave them either 20 or 24, whatever it was.
Yes.
And Harry, what was Harry going to do with them? And he brought them home to his mother. And some say they hid them in the range in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But the one I have on the Vaughan's Hotel papers is they were up in Harry Boland's mother's wardrobe. That's where the Russian crown jewels were.
Right.
And when the time came, they wanted them back. We gave them back. And De Valera, we could have been a big thing about it, or there was a bit of a thing about it then. But it was quite an extraordinary thing to do, that we had the Russian crown jewels.
My God.
And we gave them back, and we supported Russia, you know.
Yes.
And that's what you're supposed to be helping. And that's why I am offering the Russians a legal, valid and bona fide license to come into our territory.
Yes.
They don't need a conflict.
Yes.
And once they have that, the same as what's on that, once it'll be signed like that,
Yes.
once they have that, they can come in and they'll have to say on the license why they want to come in here,
Yes.
and their business here, and how long they'll be here, and they'll go out again.
Yeah.
And that'll be legal, valid, and bona fides for them. Isn't that the way out of conflict?
But of course it is. And actually, I was watching a program. I think it's a Oireachtas TV. It's a very good program. And what's the name of the former MP in Britain? Portillo or something, is it?
Michael.
Yeah. He was actually doing commentary on exactly what you're talking about there. The 1918, he brought it up in a programme. And I just couldn't believe it. It was so refreshing to hear the facts. And it brought it up on the whole thing. And Bertie Hearn was interviewed, and he said, you do not need conflict. Everything can be negotiated.
There's a conflict going on now in the world.
There is everywhere.
Between America and Russia.
Yes.
And Britain and everybody else and ourselves.
And I think that the American people would want to know this is all propaganda by the American government.
Well,
because it's rife over there.
Where you're getting your sovereignty
but
from.
Of course, this is the problem.
And this is our territories, I've just said.
Yes.
Down the Irish Sea, look down there.
Correct.
I can show you the letter that I wrote to Boris Johnson.
No, we read that. I
just
want to show people again that as well.
And there's America and Canada down there.
Correct.
And that's all our territory.
Yeah.
And we can go into America because we brought sovereignty.
That's it. Yes.
It was the Knights Templars brought sovereignty to America.
So here you are, folks. Again, I just want to show this to you. There is on the right hand side, the imprint of Ireland. There, where my thumb is, or finger, and also on the right hand side. So on the right hand side of Ireland, of course, is the Irish Sea, and all from the 32 county, north and south, and to the west is Irish territory. Yes. So we have been hoodwinked somewhere along the line. It's as simple as that. That's the Irish territory. That's Irish territorial waters.
That's Irish territorial waters. And we owned all that. You, the sovereigns,
yes.
We are sovereign.
Yes.
And that's where the 21st of January goes back to the 20th. The license will go back from your passport. I was going to bring down the passport and show you.
No, but can I just refer to something and actually...
But I'll give you the authority I have, right?
No, but before you do that, Micheál Martin on the 21st.
Important.
That's very important because I have to compliment that man.
I have
as
to
the Taoiseach of this country.
And he wouldn't speak to me.
Well, I had a word with him. I had a word with him,
Yeah, but that's very important.
But what did he admit? What did he say that really...
He said last Friday, which is the 21st of January.
Yes.
And our proclamation was read by Dolores, and John read the Sovereign Constitution.
Yes.
Dolores Cahill and John Flanagan and Bartle Darcy, and they read, look, the Sovereign Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Address to the Free Nations.
Right.
They were all read. They're the four important documents that we have. And that's where I get my authority, that 1918 32 county election.
Yes.
And Micheál Martin came out, on the formal part of Leinster House, where they bring out the heads of state and that. And he said on that, when he came out, that today, the 21st of January, was in 1919. He said the 21st of January is when our independence. He said when our exactly, you have his exact account, so you can tell him.
Yes.
That was our Independence Day.
That's a huge.
And that's the first time in 100 years.
Yes.
That the Free State have admitted that. Mm-hmm. And then up on the 16th when they were up in Dublin Castle, they said, "Oh, this is only a provisional Free State government."
But it's just a provision for the last century.
And they've been telling lies and robbing the people for the last century.
Yes.
And that's not right. We have to have the facts, and all we want is accountability.
Yes, exactly.
And accountability, and we have to go back, as we said, we did that program.
We did.
To 1155.
Yes.
When Pope Adrian IV, the only English Pope,
yes,
gave Hibernia, which is Era, to Henry II to build his empire,
exactly,
and to expand his empire. And up to Henry VIII, we had between 6 and 8 million people here.
That's right.
And they literally got rid of down to 550,000 people.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I mean that is and don't want to account for it.
No, but you see, they'll all run.
Oh, so
bury
we want those people are entitled to know all over.
Of course,
some of those young people up
yes,
to 14 years of age
yes,
who could work as slaves. I mean that's scandalous.
But if this, we call it a standoff between Russia, the worrying aspect of all of this is that our very good brilliant fishermen are heading out on the Atlantic Ocean from the southwest. Probably, I think it's Dingle and some other part as well. They're heading out with 60 boats. My worry would be that they could get in the way of danger.
They could.
Because,
But John,
missiles can misfire.
Oh.
No matter how equipped
see,
the Russian Army and Navy are.
This is where the beauty, it's a way out of the conflict,
Yes,
right?
okay.
They can do, when you have a license,
Yes.
the fishermen can say, look, we want to go there and you want to go here, and
Yes.
you'll go here and we'll go there.
Yes.
They can negotiate, and that gives them, isn't that what gives them
Of
the
course,
right
that's
to negotiate?
the imprimatur, as the man said.
Where they want to go.
Exactly.
It's a huge
That's a
territory.
legal
Look at the
document.
size of the territory.
Yeah.
We have the largest territory in Europe. That's not European territory. That's
Irish.
Irish
Yes.
territory.
Yes.
And that's why you have to have sovereignty to go into Europe. And Dáil Éireann has never signed anything for Europe. Nothing.
Yes.
We're not in Europe. And they use our tricolour flag. And Simon Coveney is a disgrace. Because Simon Coveney is pretending he's Minister of Finance and that he can give licenses and things. He can't. He's Provincial Minister under the Royal Oireachtas, under the Crown. That's what he is.
Yes.
And he can't. And this time he came out and he said it. And he's supposed to be over. You have to have sovereignty for, I told you, that the head of the Defence Forces
Yes.
met the Russian ambassador last Friday. It came out on the news this morning. And Simon Coveney criticised him for doing it. And he said, well, he's meeting all the ambassadors and that. And it's only right. There's 1 minute to tell you about negotiations and negotiation and conflict. And the next minute they're telling you, bring out military strength and, murder the people. That's no way to carry on. That is not what sovereignty is about.
No, it's not.
Sovereignty comes from the sovereignty of God and the sovereignty of mankind. And that's what it's about. And the 2 5-stringed harps, which were on the Ark of the Covenant. There's one of them.
Yes.
On that were brought here